Do you believe in luck? Good or bad, we want your stories. Can you make your own luck, as Jen suggests? Or is everything mapped out for you in the stars and there's no such thing as luck? Diana Luke, you will all know from Saturday nights here on BBC Radio Sheffield, as well as being a radio presenter, has another side to her. She coaches people, she advises people, and she can tell us a little bit about luck. Morning, Diana.
Good morning to you.
Is there such a thing as luck, Diana, or is everything mapped out?
I don't think everything's mapped out. I think we can make our own luck. I think the way we look at life can make a big difference to how things turn out. If you focus on a lot of negativity, you get a lot of negativity. You know, like when people say, why is it everything always goes wrong for me? Why is it the toilet breaks down, then that breaks down? Because you're focusing on the problem rather than the solution.
So that being the case then, if you spend your life focusing on solutions, can you make yourself lucky?
Well, it depends what you mean by lucky. You know, people have this funny idea. Kids nowadays think that the best thing in the world is to be rich and famous. And as you know, Toby, that's not always the best thing, is it?
Well, do you know, no, I wouldn't mind giving it a try, but of course, as well you know, as well anybody knows, I have to consider myself incredibly lucky just because in the same way that you do, I've got people around me that I'm lucky to be around.
Well, that's it, and it depends what you mean by luck. A lot of people see luck as winning lots of money nowadays, and they are forgetting about, as you know, Toby, the importance of family and the importance of having loved ones around them that are healthy and fit and having good relationships. Those are things that are really important that you can work on.
Now, what about the kind of predetermined stuff? I do know, and anybody who looks at your website as I have, I do know that you read tarot cards, don't you?
I do. I have done for years, yeah. I went many years ago. I always had these sort of prophetic dreams and things. And when I came to this country back in 1974, I started seeing mediums, and it was really weird, Toby, because they kept telling me all their problems. And I thought it was the other way around. I thought they were going to work out things for me. But they told me that I had abilities and stuff. Now, you can believe what you want, but I've had lots of proof. And one of them one day said, you could read the tarot. And it was that many years ago. I didn't even know what the tarot was. And I went to a psychic fair and saw some cards and picked them up. And I thought, well, how am I going to learn these? I was working on the BBC in London. And this tarot reader came on the show 2 weeks later with a book about how to learn the tarot. And I do believe in synchronicity as well, the kind of things that you put out there you can get back, negative or positive. So I read the book and I thought, okay, let's have a go at this. And then I started thinking, is this just my imagination? Am I making this up? And I think that's one of the hardest things with anything to do with any kind of ability like that. And then I started letting that go, forgot about the book, and started listening. And it's a very weird thing, but I can hear in one ear different kind of messages than the other. That sounds weird, Toby. You can hang up when you want.
No, but I mean, it doesn't sound weird. Well, actually, it sounds a bit odd.
It is odd because there are things that I am able to hear as well as see sometimes in the cards, but very often it's about the hearing. In 2 cases now, I know that I've stopped 2 suicides, and that in itself is worth everything that I've done with the tarot. One of them was a lad. I was doing a big reading down in London, and he was on the bar staff, and he said, could you do me a reading? I said, yeah. I got there early, put the cards out, and I think I only got to the 2nd card, and I just had to tell him something. And I said, I know that you're cutting yourself. I know you're suicidal, but I want you to know I can't remember a specified time, that things were really going to turn around and life was going to be good. And he went really, really pale. I thought, I really overstepped the mark here. I shouldn't have said that. And then he pulled up his shirt sleeves and he showed me his arms, and they were lacerated, completely lacerated from his elbow right down to his wrist. And he said, how did you know? Now, I don't know how I knew, but I know that in the end, it saved his life.
It's unbelievable. I'm going to tell you a story now, Diana, because, I'm not a natural believer in stuff like that.
Well, one thing before you tell me the story, I put you to the test. You come and have a reading.
Well, to be fair, you and I are seeing each other soon anyway for something else, aren't we?
We are?
I didn't mean to give you a call, but I'm not a natural believer in it, but this is a true story, and just so you know it's not a radio story, you know my missus, she'll tell you this is true.
Yeah.
1998, I went down to London to enter a competition called the Hooper's Hooch Stand-Up Comedian of the Year competition.
Yep.
And we were in Covent Garden, and there's a tarot card reader. Now, this is obviously a sideshow charlatan, isn't he? He's a bloke who's reading tarot cards for a tenner in Covent Garden.
Mm-hmm.
So, go on, have them done. So I did. And he told me I'd come down to enter a competition. He told me that I wasn't going to win.
Right.
He told me that it didn't matter. And I didn't win. I came second, and ultimately it didn't matter. Now, this, I promise you, is true.
Yes.
The competition was held by the Comedy Store, which is the gig that you want to play if you are a comedian.
Absolutely.
It's the big gig. Certainly was when I started off comedy.
Yeah.
No, it is. It's the big gig in the country. 6 years later, I'm booked to compare the Comedy Store, which is why I started comedy. If you'd have told me when I started comedy I was going to compare the Comedy Store, that was my career done. Brilliant. So I goes down to London, and I'm in Covent Garden, and I see this tarot card reader. And I phoned Nick, I said, you're not going to believe this. The same bloke is still here reading cards who was here when I entered the competition in 98.
Yeah.
She said, have a reading. I said, no, don't be daft. She said, go on, have a reading, you might as well. I sat down, honestly, Diana, gave him my money, he gets the cards, he looks at me, he went, how'd you get into that competition?
Ooh.
Now, for all I know, he may be a photographic memory, there may be all sorts of other things. It's the first question he asked me. In fact, it's the only thing he said to me, because I said, we're going to have to stop there, and I went to him and phoned Nicky and told her.
Wow, that is amazing.
It amazed me. Now, there might be all sorts of other reasons. I might have been in the paper the next night, coming second in the competition for all I know, and he just remembered it. But that's the thing he said to me, 6-7 years down the line.
I think that's amazing. And the reason he was still there was because he was good.
There you go, Diana Luke. Thank you very much indeed. The reason she's still on BBC Radio Sheffield every Saturday night is because she's good. Make sure you tune in. Colin's on the line in Walkley. Morning, Colin.
Good morning, Toby.
Now, I understand that you're not you're not a fan of...
Diana, thanks ever so much for doing that for us.
No worries.
See you soon. Cheers.
Bye-bye, love.
Bye. Bye.